Welcome to the Big Fat Real Estate Checks podcast with Marco Kozlowski, where we help investors like you get the knowledge and skills you need to replace your JOB with passive cash flow for life.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Real Estate Checks. This is Marco Kozlowski. I'm joined with Francesco Galluccio and Gabriel Araish, where we're going to be discussing today, of course, how... I don't know why I say of course all the time.
It's like
It's okay, it's your thing.
No, it's not. It's annoying as fuck because I hear it now. I can't unhear it.
Yeah.
When you said you're saying of course all the time, I'm like, do I? And I'm like, holy shit, I say it all the fucking time. All right. Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Real Estate Checks, where Gabriel Araish, Francesco Galluccio, and myself, Marco Kozlowski, walk you through how to build wealth using other people's money and using skills instead of money in order to buy real estate, how to have a fabulous life, and how to plan a fabulous life, which is exactly what we're going to be discussing today. Planning your retirement instead of your retirement planning you, which is what most people do. Now, before we go down the rabbit hole of this very interesting topic, I do want to invite you to listen to at least the first 10 episodes if you have not yet. Enjoy those. And of course, leave a comment, share, love, and subscribe to this, because if you don't share, love, and subscribe, you will miss all the future episodes that are just kick ass. We work very hard to give you the most cutting edge topics, the most interesting topics, and actionable items, actionable information that you can use to really make a big difference in your life. And of course, myself, Frank, and Gabe have been doing this for a very long time, collectively like 384 years of experience, where we're going to help you do the best we can to really help you, again, make big changes in your life by making very small changes today. And I mean today. And the reason I'm saying today is retirement. I have not been blessed by working in the corporate world. I know Frank has, and as in the tax, in the tax world, and Gabriel in the accounting world, kind of also tax, both of you. And I know Frank has some stories on planning retirement. I know when I'm working with mentees of mine, we really plan a very aggressive strategy to do things within 3 to 5 years, so you never have to work again in a very short period of time, depending on what your goals are and how much time you have to dedicate to the process, because it's not get rich quick. You do have to, plan things, learn skills, and then apply those skills. And once it clicks, it goes very quickly. But once you really know what you're doing, you can pretty much retire whenever you choose, which is what Gabriel and Frank have done within a 5-year period of time as well. And I'll start with Frank. I know, Frank, you have some really interesting stories on when you used to work, where you used to work, and I'd like to discuss those terrible stories.
Yeah, no. Well, you know what? Terrible. It's just a mentality of people. That's just the way society thinks is, we're working today to retire for tomorrow or at a future date. And a lot of people, and when you start reflecting on retirement alone, just, what is retirement? Is it an age thing? Is it a money thing? It's a money thing. It's a financial issue. It's not an age thing where the government dictates, okay, you're retiring at 60 or 65, and they're even contemplating at 67 now because people are living longer. So like if they're living longer because they don't want to give out the pension, some countries do have public pension or some kind of subsidy when you do retire at a certain age. But yeah, when I was working for the government, but even before that, I had a financial advisor. And the same thing, the whole mentality is, you work, you save some money, you spend some money, but spend on the essentials and save the rest. Don't have fun yet. It's like, don't have fun. It's like a rule. Don't have fun yet. Wait 40 years or 45 years after you're working, which is BS. And it was actually getting to me in the last decade with the government. As you mentioned, I work for the federal government as a senior officer, and for about 25 years. And it's, with my colleagues, we were getting up there in age, and people were literally counting down their days for retirement down to the week, which is scary because some of them, it's not like they're weeks away, they're years away. And they're, when I used to go into an elevator, I say, hey, George or Paul or Joe or Giuseppe or Claudio, Guido, how you doing? It's like, oh, fuck this, man. Another, 8 years, 4 months and 3 weeks and 2 hours. And I was like, really? And they're waiting for that. And it's sad because I know quite a few, I have quite a few friends with the government, and one of them was wanted to travel. She just wanted to travel. She goes, I want to just travel Europe or whatever. And I was like, why don't you just go now? Like, the government is very generous in terms of giving vacation time or whatever. She had like 8 weeks of vacation because she's a senior. She's like, no, I want to do it all at once. Plus, I need money to travel. I was like, all right, that's fine. I was like, but you're going to be waiting another 7 years to do that, to follow her dream, right? And sadly, she didn't make it. She passed before she was able to retire. I think 2 years before she was able to retire. So, can you imagine all these years? So you're waiting, your 20, 30 years to work, so you can retire. So then you can fulfill your dreams, and then. Listen, you don't know. Everyone doesn't know their cards. Only the big guy knows your cards. So when it's your calling, it's your calling. So you may have plans to go travel in 10 years or 7 years, but I wouldn't postpone it for that reason, because look at her. She worked all her life and she didn't fulfill none of her dreams, which is a really sad thing. And because of that, I used to avoid taking the elevator. I used to work on the 9th floor. So, because I used to go in, it was doom and gloom from the morning. It was doom and gloom. Hey, how's it doing? It's like, this place, I don't like it. Listen, guys, if you don't like your job, why keep going there? You have choices, all right? So I used to take the stairs. So it made me fit, I guess. But other than that,
you look good back then.
Yes, I look good back then. Yes, but
took him 750-pound steps to get there every day.
It is, and you know what? Actually, if you look at the definition of retirement, it's pretty ugly. I think it's to take out of useful use.
Yep.
So to take out of use. So I don't think I ever want to retire. It's again, it's not an age thing. It's a financial thing. So if you got enough money to live passively or whatever, you don't have to wait till you're 65 or when the government deems you retirement age.
Yeah, it's just a society plan, right? That's what we're kind of taught, right? From school is you're going to work 40 years and then you're going to retire. And, I know in Canada, we have, the government kind of takes a piece of your paycheck, pretty much every paycheck, so that you can retire or use that for your retirement, should that money still be around in the future. And that's why, like you were saying, Frank, they're trying to push that number up so that they have to pay you a little bit later, not right away. And a lot of people, unfortunately for them, this is their only source of retirement income, or will be their only source of retirement income. But like the maximum you can get on a federal level, I believe, is like $14,000 a year, which is, and that's going to be taxed as well, I believe. So,
how do you live on that?
And then you have your provincial, which is going to be another whatever, 8 to 10. Yeah, you can't. That's the thing is you're supposed to get to retirement, at least. I say you're supposed to, based on what society teaches you. You get to a retirement so that you can enjoy your life. But if you're making a lot less, then it just doesn't sound right.
Well, you're working all day when you're working, right? So you're busy all day. And then when you retire, you have all this time, and then you're supposed to live on less, but you have more time, so you want to do more. So technically, you should actually have a lot more money retired than you do working, because you have way more time and you want to do more shit. I want to go travel. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. I want to experience this. That shit costs money. So how the hell are you going to do all the things that you want to do if you don't have enough money to retire? I think everyone should have millions of dollars for retirement, or at least passive income for retirement, and no one plans for it. In fact, you plan your retirement less than you do planning a vacation. Yeah. And that's the biggest vacation you're going to have. So, and it's not because they're not options, or, it's just lack of proper planning, and it's lack of education, really. And it's designed in a way where you're set up to fail. My parents, when they retired, they ran out of money before they ran out of life. They're in their late 70s, early 80s, and there's luckily they have an ATM for a child that was able to help them. But it's if I was not in the position that I was to actually help them out, they would really be buggered, and it wouldn't be fair. And there are too many humans that learn the lesson way too late, and it's actually extremely tragic that most put off the most important thing there is, which is how do you take care of your future and still absolutely love today without compromising today. Do you have to live like a pauper so you can live like a pauper later? Or can you actually live like a king so you can live like, a king later as well. There's one doesn't have to compromise the other, because if you understand money, there's no limit to how much money there is in the universe. So if there's an unlimited amount of money to be had, there should not be a limited amount in your bank account. And how much money you have in your bank account today is a reflection of your behaviors of the past. So if you behave a certain way, you're going to have a certain amount of money in your account. If you behave a different way, you're going to have more money in your account. And the conversation we're having today is, how do you plan? Not me. I'm good no matter what happens. So is Frank. So is Gabe, and many others that follow me and that I work with. The question is what are you going to do today to really take care of your tomorrow? And how can we really shift your thinking to not wait? Because tomorrow is not promised. Today is. You have this moment right now, and how are you going to show up for yourself today, right now, to be the best that you can be, so you have the best tomorrow possible? And that's really the discussion we want to have.
No, I just wanted to add what you just mentioned on one part. Yeah, everyone's saving that money, so they're saving for that, that retirement age. But, planning for 10, 20, 30 years out, that money, you're exactly right, Marco. You're going to have more time on your hands, but not only more time on your hands, that you want to do more things. At least you would want to do more things. You want to enjoy your life. You get one life, from as far as we know. So make the best out of it. But things, we were just talking about the price of inflation, the price of things going up or whatever. So even if you're saving modestly, and you say, okay, I'm making, whatever, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a year. If I could save up, maybe, and the way financial advisors work, they say, well, you don't need the full 80. It's like, well, I need it now, right? I'm just using hypothetical numbers here. And like, well, when you retire, you're going to be at home, you're going to be less expenses, maybe less going out. But exactly that. That's totally wrong advice. And this is from a financial advisor, right? They go, well, you're making 80 now because you're going to work. You're going to have more expenses. You have car expense, you have gas, and you have
children.
Once in a while, you have children. Mm-hmm. So when you're older, you're gonna need a lot less, like half. They went down to half. I was like, I don't know, man. This years ago, by the way, before my real estate years. I was like, really, half? I was like, okay, that's okay, whatever. We get convinced that way, which is horrible, because you think about it. We're just talking about lumber. How it went up 300%. Do you think things in the next 10, 20, 30 years, or the next 3 decades, things are going to be more expensive? 100% they will be. They're always going to be. And then when you get to that point, no kidding, there's a lot of Walmart greeters. Now, maybe they want to be there for social reasons, but I'd rather be at a social club playing cards with my buddies or doing whatever, or on a yacht. But you see, and this is sad, when you see our older generation, they work their whole lives and they're still working. Yeah. And then what happens? It causes a big bad chain where the younger ones are trying to get into the jobs, but the older ones are hanging on because they can't stop retiring. That's what's happening to a lot of industries, where the older ones are just lingering, and these young fresh blood, they're waiting at the door trying to get in, but they can't because there's no openings.
Or even worse, either they're wanting to work, or they have to work, and then they get fired and they can't find another job because of their age. I know there's age discrimination involved, but you're not qualified. It is what it is. At one point, if you do get let go and you're closer to the retirement age, which I think is ridiculous, because I think the older you are, the more skilled you are, the more efficient you are, the better of an employee you are. That's why you're on the team, Frank, because I like seniors on the team. I want the most efficient people I can to help the community. Just kidding, Frank.
It's okay. I know. Yeah.
So we're the same age, so yes. Whatever. But you understand what I'm saying is that you either enjoy the work, or you can't get work. In which case, what are you going to do then? Don't have the money to be able to take care of yourself, and it's. I think the statistic is most people die within 5 years of retirement because they have no idea what the hell to do with their lives at all. The goal has been retirement, and then they realize, I don't have enough money, I can't do the things I enjoy, and I'm bored out of my mind. I want to shoot myself.
And probably not even in good shape at that point. All the stress accumulated. There's physical.
And then you have not just mental problems, but physical. You're getting sick, and then that's not cheap. Specifically in the U.S. and Canada, it's even medication isn't free in Canada, so there's still a cost to that. It's just. I think it's ass backwards. And, I don't care what age you're listening to this. If you're, we have, folks like Laurier who was well into his 80s when he first started, who did fairly well. And then we have, those that are in their 20s that are just getting started. And, that's a gift, because if you understand how to do this in your 20s, you're never going to have to work again very quickly. So it really doesn't matter where you are on the scale, is what are you going to do today in order to take care of your tomorrow? Because working for a living is not going to retire you unless you love what you're doing, which is fine. But the reality is you do need money, income, and not a pile of money, because the problem with a pile of money is it disappears, right? If you have $1 million and you're using $100,000 a year, that'll last 10 years. If you have $1 million in assets that pay you $100,000, that'll never go away, because now you have $100,000 in passive income and you still have your $1 million asset. So way better to have assets that pay you than you work for money or have money that just dwindles and disappears.
Right.
So money by itself has no value at all.
I think Warren Buffett said it best. If you can't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to be working your entire life. And that's what planning your retirement is about. And you're right. No matter what age, obviously the younger you are, the quicker you're going to get this done. But you have to take care of this now. And, for those of you who know my story, I made a lot of mistakes in real estate. But the one thing I did is, even in my mistakes, even in buying wrong when I was in my 20s, the point is I still bought an asset that's now cash flowing. And, if that was the only thing I had left when I retire, or when I turn 67, let's say, those properties are paid off and they're collecting cash flow every single month. I'll probably make enough money to do anything I want to do just with those initial purchases I made in my 20s, let alone everything else that was built around that now. But so, building now it's crucial.
Well, yeah. And you don't need, if you have the knowledge and the skill sets, you don't need money to buy these assets that pay for you forever. Every asset that we've ever bought we've never used our own money. And that's how it should be, period. And again, you can get excuses or you can get results, but you really need to plan how you're going to want to live in your future. Because if you're thinking that, okay, well, as Frank said, how are you going to live on half of what you're living now with all the time in the world? You're going to go bananas. Like I'd probably want to die, not having the ability to do anything or go anywhere, or can't afford this or can't afford that. Holy shit, that would scare the shit out of me.
I think they say half because realistically, as you're saving money for your retirement, number one, they don't want to scare the shit out of you. Half is definitely not going to be enough. But how much you have to put aside? If you think about it, if you're only going to work and trading time for dollars, and you need let's use Marco's theory. You're going to need double, because you're going to have a lot more time and you want to do shit that you couldn't do before. That's why you went to work. So let's just say double. So what is the financial advisor going to say? Well, I know you're making $1,000 a week. Let's set aside 800 and you keep 2 for the next 30 years.
Well, that's the thing, is how do you make double? And it's not by doing what you're doing now, for sure. You can't. Exactly. So unless you develop another skill set in order to retire effectively, everyone has the time to do something else, a side hustle of some kind. And I don't care if it's real estate or whatever else you choose to do, own a business. Just do something that allows you to generate some passive income that's proven, tested. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's tons of opportunities out there on ways of generating income that is time tested and proven. But you just have to consistently learn and grow with the times. Because right now, what I'm teaching this week is different than what I was teaching 3 months ago, because the market has shifted, right? And the market's going to shift again, which is going to be, I think, our next topic. Just thought of it. So it's going to be. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great episode. If you ever listen to one of these episodes, I'm like, we have no idea what we're going to talk about until probably the end of this episode, which is kind of cool how it works. But so as things change, you have to change with it. And the challenge is that most people don't change their behavior at all for a very long time. And if you think about what you're doing today, if you're doing the same thing as you were doing today, go back 10 years, is the world a completely different place 10 years ago as you were doing now? And are you really changing the behavior patterns that you have today to the world that it was, as it is today versus what it was before?
Adaptability. Just think of when you have to send the IRS something, you still have to use a fax. It's just trying to send them something now is not the same like it was 10 years. It's not even easy for me to find a fax to send it to them yet. There's still, I mean, the government's always the perfect scenario of, the last to adapt. So that's not where you want to be. You want to be an early adapter. So anytime there's a shift, you want to change and take advantage of that movement.
If you go to the blacksmith, right next to the blacksmith, there's a fax store.
Yeah. I don't need to leave my house. I can't.
Oh my goodness! You can't leave your house, Gabe. Yes, you can't leave it. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Change your behavior. You're going to change your results. And if you don't change your behavior, sadly, your results are not going to change. So, you're
sorry. What do you say to someone that says, "Well, I'm working. I'm working 9 to 5 as it is. I don't have any money. There's no way that I can plan for retirement. Government this, government that. My wife this,
Excuses.
my kids that. Exactly.
Excuses.
The road to hell is paved with excuses.
Frank and I were both there. I mean, I think maybe we did even more than, well, maybe not Frank, more than 9 to 5. I think he was more of a 10 to 3, but
I resent that.
But yeah, I had a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4, whatever you want to call it, and children that had to be taken care of, go to activities, homework, all that stuff. I didn't, I did real estate as a side hustle, from like 10 p.m. to 1 in the morning, sometimes every day if I had to, because it was important for me to stop the rat race. Now, working is not a bad thing. If you love your job and you want to do your 9 to 5, that's great. But, it's still a good idea to create something that's passive. And that was my initial intent, because I kind of enjoyed what I did. I needed passive income, and I'm a really shitty singer, and Hollywood hasn't found me yet. So, real estate was the go-to place for me. And I started building a little bit of passive income, and then realized, holy moly, I was able to create this while working, while taking care of the kids, while doing all this, and sleeping 3 hours a day. What happens if I put a little bit more time at this? And then the world changed for me.
Well, it doesn't matter how much money you have, because those that win the lottery within 5 years actually go, BK or lose all their money, or the friends anyway. So it's not a matter of how much money you start with. It's what you do with it. What you do with it and your behaviors to get it. And the challenge is when you win the lottery, or even, look at professional athletes, many of them have gone broke or bankrupt, and made millions of dollars, misappropriated their funds in some way because they had a lot of cash, and they blew it because they had a lot of it, and there was new money, and that just happened. And now they have fail stops, to prevent that, but it still happens. And it's very sad. Someone that makes $3 million a week to being almost bankrupt is a rough journey.
Yeah, actually, that's what you just said there with the athletes. There's actually a show on that.
Yeah,
it's called Back in the Game. It's because a lot of athletes that made like 60 million, 40 million, it's all gone.
Mike
all
Tyson.
gone. Can you imagine that? It's that's scary shit. But I was just going to go back with what the banks are doing too. So if you think about it, with the bank, they have the savings account, and they have the checking account, So like, talk about late to adapt, or is it late to adapt, or is it designed by purpose?
That is the question.
Yeah, that is the question. Is it designed by purpose? Because remember, they don't teach you this shit in school. What did they teach you in school? Get an education, pick a profession that you like or whatever, get a job, right? And work for that job and whatever. And you can make a decent living, but you can make a decent living. But how about your retirement? They don't talk about that. They don't talk about preservation of capital, and they don't talk about passive income. What do you do with your money? How do you reinvest it to make more money, right? Which is sad. And that's why I'm trying to, educate my kids on it, even though they're still quite young, but they get it. Or at least my 2 teenagers get it.
Yeah. Lack of financial education and fear are extreme controllers. So if you have a population that is struggling financially and is scared, it's a very easy population to control. I don't want to get into, conspiracy theories or any of that shit, but if you have a lot of money and you understand money and you have choices, you don't have the same fears as someone that is coming from a place of, wanting. If a scarcity mentality is very common, and there's actually abundance. And if you understand how to get things, and again, that comes down to skill. If you educate yourself on how to generate income, not needing money, just needing skills, and the more skills you have, the more money you can create out of thin air. And it's our goal, our mission, our purpose, our desire for those that are listening, for you, the listener, to really learn these skills so you can choose how much money you decide to have in your retirement, whether it's $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $1 million a month. That's your choice. And it's your destiny to be successful. It's your choice to fail, honestly. And if you don't make the right choices, you're going to fail. And it's your choices now that will affect your future. And we really want to help you in any of those choices. I think we're out of time. Gabriel, Frank, thank you so much. Listener, thank you so much as well. We welcome your comments. And of course, like, love, share it. And I look forward to seeing you on the very next episode, which is going to be, you'll have to find out. We'll see you very soon, guys. Take care.
If you like this episode of Big Fat Real Estate Checks, then show some love by leaving a comment and a good rating. Also, as a thank you for tuning in today, we've got a special free gift. The journey to passive cash flow for a life starts by finding deals, and it's easier than you think. Simply go to getdealsbytuesday.com, enter your email address, and we'll send you a free quick start course called Deals by Tuesday. Even if it's 11 p.m. Monday night, this course will show you how to find discounted real estate deals by Tuesday. It's that fast and simple. Go to getdealsbytuesday.com and start your journey toward life-changing cash flow today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.